trend of individuals rushing to scoop fuel from overturned tankers has resulted in devastating consequences, loss of lives and severe injuries. For some people, the law of free fuel often overshadows the inherent dangers associated with such reckless behavior. It is pertinent for people to understand that fuel spills are highly volatile, and igniting a single spark can lead to catastrophic explosions. The spark can be ignited by telephones, buckets, and other utensils used at the scene. Despite authorities and safety experts urging communities to recognize the risks involved in approaching accident scenes, it is unfortunately a recurring problem. The question is why? Why would anyone consciously walk into a deadly situation that could lead to death? Is it that many are unaware that fuel vapors can ignite from a distance, posing a threat not only to scooping individuals but also bystanders and first responders? Welcome to 30 Minutes on NTA News. Our focus on this edition is averting needless deaths from tanker accidents. I'm Lydia Sampson. The first feature by Ibrahim Bello Gunda highlights the dangers petroleum tanker accidents pose, including catastrophic fires, environmental pollution, and loss of lives. How does poorly maintained roads and lax safety regulations exacerbate the problem? What is the place of drivers' management, and how crucial is it for drivers to take mandatory breaks to combat fatigue?
Lately, Nigeria has been plagued by overwhelming tanker accident and explosion, leading to the tragic loss of lives and destruction of properties. A petrol-laden tanker overturned near Abuja village, Taura local government area of Jigawa State, spilling its contents into drainage. The explosion claimed the lives of 181 people, affected 210 families, and left 80 individuals hospitalized. Majia tanker incident ranks among the deadliest tanker-related disasters in Nigeria's history. Unfortunately, there seems to be no lesson learned on the danger of scooping petroleum products during tanker accidents. Barely 3 months later, another horrific tanker explosion occurred in Dikko, Gurara local government area of Niger State. A 60,000-litre petrol tanker detached from its head and exploded, killing more than 86 people, scooping its contents, with many hospitalized. Other tanker accidents and explosions reported within almost the same period were Ibadan and Enugu tanker explosions, with less casualties due to non-scooping of products. The magnitude of this loss across the country is enormous. Over 300 lives have been lost to tanker explosions. With glaring gaps in safety practice and public awareness, as well as the need to prioritize saving lives among Nigerians, it is imperative to ensure sustainable awareness creation. Apart from the catastrophic fire and destruction of property, the accident also contributes to environmental pollution due to toxic spills. For stakeholders, the problem of poorly maintained roads, the need for proactive measures in certifying tanker drivers to ensure sanity on the road and compliance with existing global road safety standards will go a long way in addressing some of the identified challenges.
What is really happening is disturbing to we marketers, because there is loss in life. At the same time, there is loss in money expect, because any tanker that you have seen fall down on the road, the amount of money that a marketer is going to lose is not a small money, because the head of the tanker alone is almost about 100 million naira, and the liquid content inside is 50 million to 60 million naira. So it's not a small investment. So let's come back to the real cause. You know, an accident cannot happen, but it's caused. So anytime when you see an accident happen, there must be a reason behind that accident. By the time when we look at our Nigerian roads, sincerely speaking, government has to do something about those roads. As part of the contribution to what this accident that you have been seeing is happening, At the same time, too, our drivers, sometimes, they normally, some of them, done some negligence in terms of driving. So that one too will cause accident.
The first thing the people should do is to evacuate that vicinity, that environment. All the people should run for their lives. Number two, they should contact the emergency responders, fire service, NEMA, police. They will come and make sure that we cordon the place and we ensure that the tanker that falls does not ignite to fire. Fire does not occur. We know all that the process we will go through to ensure that because when tanker falls like that, the next thing is expected is fire outbreak. But if you contact us, we come around and make sure that we do the damping of the tanker so that it will not catch fire until the content is transferred to another tanker.
In 2007, we came up with a policy to regulate all trucks and articulated vehicles, including tankers, that rather than having this free affair, let them be coordinated, let them be regulated, and let them operate under safety, minimum safety standard, which became easier for us. And secondly, after a few years, we now said, well, it's not all of them that are really complying with this directive and policy, and especially when it has to do with tankers. There were a series of tankers crashes. And I said, okay, let's establish safe to load, where rather than running after these tankers on the highway, let us make the loading impossible for them when they don't meet up with minimum safety standard.
They call for stiffer enforcement of safety standards to mitigate risk, ensure public safety, as they reiterate the need to ban night journey for tanker and trailers to ensure the drivers rest at night.
Wherever the tanker falls and there is spillage, the content spills, all the environment is filled with the vapor of that fuel. So when it happens like that, it's always as an hazard. So the best thing is to run away for our dear lives when it happens. Is, you know, when we talk about fire outbreak, we talk about the heat, the fuel, the combustible that is there, and the oxygen. You know that in that environment already you have the air, which is oxygen, you have the fuel, which is the vapor of all this spillage that is around, and the heat from the vehicle, the truck that falls. A little spark, no matter how small, will throw the whole environment into serious outbreak.
Every crash that involves articulated vehicle must be investigated. And the essence of the investigation is to know who is culpable. And I know there are cases that are still lying there in court, in as much as might not really be in the public domain, but you know, it's a process. But I can assure you, from what I know, the prosecutions are ongoing, and there are some distinguished legal luminary that are even taking this upon themselves, that are working in tandem with FRSC, that any crash that involves casualties, somebody must pay the price to enable them to get compensation for the casualties and their family members.
Awareness creation drives this stress should extend to drivers, transport companies and residents in high-risk areas to minimize the chances of such tragedies recurring. Government and stakeholders, as they agree, must reorientate society on the dangers of scooping products after accident, among others.
You see, the tankers that we are using, they are standard gauge. And that is the reason why you see in most of the cases, there is no much issues. Had it been if the gauges of the tankers are at a lower gauge, immediately when the tanker falls down, you will see the fuel will start coming out. But there is what we call these PES 2 tankers, which we are using now today. So those PES 2 is hardly, when they fall down, you will see the fuel will start coming out. In most of the cases, anywhere you see this issue is happen, is people that are taking advantage. Immediately when they see the tanker fall down, they will go and see how they will lose the cover and see how they can start taking fuel. So, and there is need for the proper sensitization.
When we talk about tanker explosion, there are causes, as we enlighten people. It may be due to road accidents. It may be due to the condition of the vehicle. It may be due to the condition of the driver itself. What of the point where they are discharging the petroleum product? When they just reach the filling station, they say they want to discharge on time.
And the best way, which we have been doing, is to speak to their conscience, for them to know the danger involved in scooping, and to also remind them that so many people that got involved in this got killed. Imagine that of Digawa, close to 200, and this thing still got repeated. So when we get to the scene, after cordoning up the area, if we are lucky to be there ahead of time, we pray that there will not be overwhelming situation where it will overwhelm the security agencies. What we do is to speak to them, let them know the dangers involved, or also take note that even the security agencies will not be closer to the scene in order not to get affected too.
Emergency response system must significantly improve across sectors to mitigate the needless high death toll, which is exacerbated by the delayed arrival of first responders and inadequate medical facilities. Local government, they insist, should invest in equipping fire stations and hospitals to handle emergencies effectively, transitioning to alternative methods of fuel transportation such as pipeline will significantly reduce the reliance on trucking of petroleum products on roads by tankers.
Now, Thomas Obetere, what are the dangers and consequences of scooping petroleum products from tanker accidents? Are the people ignorant of the fact that scooping fuel not only risks burns and inhalation of toxic fumes, but also creates slick surfaces that can cause further accidents, making it difficult for even individuals to safely escape the scene? Why are the people willing to endanger themselves and others by scooping fuel? What are your findings, Thomas?
First of all, I condolence the family and the friends of our beloved brothers and sisters that lost their life in that incident. And I'm saying, may their soul rest in peace.
Tanker accidents have become a recurring tragedy across Nigeria, with devastating consequences not just for the victims, but for the entire communities. In a recent incident in Niger State, a fuel tanker exploded, causing not only enormous loss of lives, but also igniting concerns about the danger of scooping fuel from such accident sites.
When the tanker fell down, they brought another tanker to offload the fuel into that one, and they brought generator. From what I have from somebody, I don't know if it was true. So from there, it's like the fire ignited from the gen, or I don't really know.
I later found out that after the accident, a bunch of people died. I think close to 60 people died, bunch to without recognition. It was really tragic.
That happens as a result of impulse. When you see something that is precious flowing away, wasting, you want to save some. Maybe save it for your own use.
And the moment they see such an opportunity, they dive into it, thinking it's going to be an opportunity. But rather, they don't know that it is destruction.
Some people don't really know the dangers of going near falling tankers and the consequences it can lead to, like explosion and loss of lives.
Like, I don't know, maybe they saw an opportunity to get an access to earn money That's why they went into that. Although it's a very dangerous situation. I think it's desperation of money and people taking advantage of the situation, and also they want to make money.
Are you scoping that fuel to help the person? That some will come with headband, some will come with iron, some will even come with metals, and fuel doesn't like such a thing.
Some of them don't think about their life. They are thinking of what they will get immediately. Once they can get even 5 liters of oil, they know they can get 5,000 naira or 4,500. So for that reason, they will just see them taking risk of their life without thinking of the danger.
So many people died, so many people were injured. And this is something that have happened before, and it still happen now.
Despite numerous warnings from safety authorities, some Nigerians still risk their lives by scooping fuel from tanker accidents. This seemingly desperate act always lead to horrific explosions, toxic exposure, and even death. The risk associated with fuel spillage at such scenes are grave, including inhaling fumes from spilled petroleum products, which can lead to long-term health effects, while the slick surfaces resulting from the fuel can cause individuals to slip and fall, potentially making it harder for people to escape the scene.
Ignorance on the part of the people. Then secondly, poverty. Because one will ask, or likely ask himself, what is the end means of going to scope fuel? One, the tanker that fell has an owner, and that owner has invested some amount of money into that project. First thing, as an African, the first thing that comes to your mind is pity. How much do you think you are going to make from scooping a spilled fuel?
So even keeping fuel in your house is more dangerous than any other thing. So seeing it on the road, even a focus can ignite the fire. So going to such a place, I believe a lot of Nigerians always forget history of what has happened in the past. So they don't always take that as a yardstick to their own life, that anything can happen to them. So first of all, what I should advise is that once you see such thing, a split of fuel on the ground or a tanker carrying fuel got spoiled on the road, please run for your life. You have been surviving before that fuel incident happened. If that fuel incident did not happen, won't you survive? So that should be in your mind. So every Nigerian should get that consciousness in them, that their life is the most important thing, not what they will get immediately, quick money. That's the danger of quick money.
It is a risk of life. Still they go into that venture into scooping the fuel from a leaking tanker. Petrol or fuel or any kind of chemical, it is highly inflammable, right? Chemical, you can consider petrol, diesel, even gases or any other chemicals. If you see it is leaking, it's seriously a risky area to go in, to venture in. And that's what I advise to everyone, that okay, whenever they see it, just stay away from that location. Just run as soon as possible from that location, because it's within seconds. It can catch fire and it can basically blast the entire area. It can damage the entire area. So many lives can be lost. So immediately they see a tanker leaking fuel, simply run away from it. And important part to run away on that side is also, see, the fuel is light. It is light than water. So when it spills, it is always going to be on the top of the surface. If you suppose started flowing into gutter, it is going to flow very fast. And that is a bigger risk. So don't go into the lower area. Run towards higher side. So if you suppose you are on the road and the tanker is on higher side, lower side, you run to higher altitude. That would be the best advice, so that you can protect yourself.
A microbiologist and author of 5 books, who has also been studying the impact of fuel spillage and tanker accidents, Mary Adaji and others, say one of the key factors behind the risky behavior is mainly ignorance. Many people are not fully aware of the potential consequences of such actions. Others, unfortunately, are driven by economic desperation. Some unfortunately view scooping fuel as a quick opportunity to make money. However, the reality is that this can lead to catastrophic outcomes. It is also important to note that the chaotic nature of such accidents attracts crowds, which increases the likelihood of further injuries from explosion or chemical exposure.
This fuel, it has some toxic substances in it that can affect the health of people, that can even damage them, even down to taking their lives, because there are some chemicals in that oil spillage that can affect them, in the sense that, okay, let's even say there is a farm around that place. At the end of the day, if that oil spillage gets into that farm, it will affect those produce, and at the end of the day, people consume those produce from the farm, and consuming those produce from the farm can affect their health, and before you know, you start hearing different form of sicknesses coming up, different form of diseases coming up.
Everybody know what fuel can do. If you know at filling station, if you try to light any lighter there in filling station, you will see the reaction from the station. So everybody know what fuel can do. But out of frustration, that's what we put people to go and fish and try to get fuel from the falling tanker.
It's not a today thing in Nigeria. We have had series of incidents, people going to burst fuel pipeline and they get killed. So it's no longer in news. I think all these things boil down to ignorance and hunger.
To avert these tragedies, experts recommended better enforcement of safety regulations for tanker transportation, including proper inspection and maintenance of vehicles. Public education is also critical in highlighting the immediate and long-term dangers of interacting with petroleum products during accidents. A concerted effort involving community leaders, school and government agencies is definitely important and essential that Nigerians understand that no amount of fuel is worth risking their lives.
There is more to life than making money first. First of all, it's someone who is alive that can even still pursue that money you're looking for. So as a young person, walk the legal way. I think the only thing that can be done is to just keep educating them, to keep telling them that they have to be aware of the consequences of what they are putting themselves.
Yeah, because right now people have access of phones, people have access of TV, people have access of radio, people have access of newspapers. So all mediums are very important. If you look at the incident, majority of the people who come into this kind of activity or who involve themselves into this kind of fuel fetching the fuel from a leaking tanker, they are most vulnerable in the society, right? So they don't have access of all majority of the bigger, like they don't have smartphones, they don't have other things. So I will suggest that best thing would be that, okay, continuously medium on radio would be number one. A TV can also be used because everybody watch TV. So TV or YouTube or anywhere we can share this information. Okay, it should be part of a CSR for even energy companies, right? That they should do that. It's not only government will do that. It should be part of CSR that oil companies should come forward and run these kind of campaigns. Celebrities should come forward and make contribution in that side. And that will become a bigger advantage because this is how it is being communicated in the other part of the world.
Whenever you see a load of tanker that is carrying fuel and fell on the road or have accident on the road, just in your mind, put in your mind, this is a bomb. This is a bomb that is ready to blow. So you run faster, escape from that bomb. Don't look at it as the tanker that carries fuel that fell and the fuel is pouring in the ground. No, see it as a bomb. I believe when our people started to see this fuel tanker that fell on the road as a time bomb, I think it will motivate them to run far from the territory.
Federal government to create a task force. Once your vehicle got breakdown, contact the task force to watch over it, to scare people away from it, also to protect the life of the citizens around that environment. It will help a lot because a little thing, a phone call can ignite a fire. Cigarette from afar can ignite that fire. Somebody cooking by nearby can ignite fire.
That the consequences of scooping fuel during tanker accidents can be devastating is not in doubt. However, it is crucial that society change their minds about behaving differently around these accidents and focus on more awareness about the true dangers. It is clear that everyone has a role to play in preventing such preventable and unnecessary deaths, injuries, and horrific outcomes.
Public awareness campaigns are essential in educating citizens about the dangers engaging in the dangerous practice of skipping petrol. Community workshops, social media outreach, and school programs can help disseminate crucial information about safety protocols during such emergencies. Fundamentally, staying away from accident site is not just a matter of personal safety, it is a collective responsibility to prevent further tragedies. By fostering a culture of caution and respect for emergency situations, we can protect lives and ensure that such incidents do not end in unnecessary loss. The message is clear. When it comes to fuel spills, safety must always come first. Thanks for watching. Please stay safe. I'm Lydia Samson.